Hey, what's up everybody? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review we're looking at my newest custom, which is my newest version of the UDON, or UDON, however you prefer to pronounce it, Taskmaster figure. This is one of my all-time favorite character designs. He just looks really cool with the contrast of blue and white, with the armor plating, the skull type mask on top, the light up shield. Doesn't actually light up, but it's energy based. Whatever it is, it looks cool. Translucent orange shield, guns, hoods, swords. What's not to like about this guy? And he's in my favorite color scheme, blue and white and gray, and what's wrong with that? Nothing at all is the right answer. So he's got most of his stuff just on him right now, because this is how I had him posed to send a quick picture to the customer. So he's got two rifles. Let's just go ahead and run through this stuff as we have it here before I take him off the stand. So he's got two rifles, a little bit of custom paint job on there with the silvers and a little bit of red for the safety and for the lights. Same thing with this rifle here, if I can get it out of his hand. You know, a little bit of red scopage going on there. Safety, that kind of stuff. He's got his two, well, you know what? Let's leave the pistols on for now. Let's take him off of the stand. I made sure that the flight stand would still work because my customer wanted a Marvel Legends flight stand. And of course it has to be nice and tight. So there, we get rid of the flight stand. We have his katana. Of course, we just use the standard Marvel Legends katana because why not? So that's fine, we'll leave that there. And then we have, I'll get to the pistols in a second, I didn't forget, we have the energy shield, which is really cool. I think because it's translucent, and I like things that are translucent and or light up. Unfortunately, it doesn't light up. There's no place for me to put a battery pack on this thing. But the translucentness is cool enough, I think. So there's that, and I've told you guys how I made these before, so I'm not going to go through it again. But there is that shield, and that is connected to this little generator thingy on his hand, just like my old ones, via magnet. And if you don't want to use the shield, you need something there, because that's how it's supposed to be. So I made the little orb type thingy that goes on his hand when he's not using his shield, and that is just a magnet that I've sculpted over, and then I made glossy, yellowy to look like what it's supposed to look like. So there's that. Okay, now let's look at the pistols, just because I like how I custom painted these. I just kind of winged it with these guys, and I think they turned out really cool. They have just a little bit of a black tip. They reminded me of like reverse Punisher pistols from the first Punisher movie, because he had those longer muzzle flash suppressors on his guns, and I just kind of went with that look, so I thought those were cool. But anyway, I put some shoulder holsters on there, made them out of neoprene sheeting. Those connect to his chest harness, which goes around and has the sword connected to it and some buckles on there. And that's not all. So we've got the custom sculpted head. I'll get to that in a second. And just as my other ones, you can take this down hood off, because you don't always want to have your hood off, and you can put this up hood on, but there's no head. So here's the trick with that, because you can't have a hood without a head to put in it. So I made it so that you can just set the head inside. It's a little bit, it seems tricky, but trust me, it's not. So you set the head inside the hood, and as you can see, that reveals the magnet in the head, and voila. Now you've got the head, and of course you can adjust where the head peg is to get the head to line up inside properly, but for the sake of the review, this will suffice. So you got the head with the hood on it now, so you can have that displayed either way, with the hood up or down. Of course, with the hood up over the head, it does limit the articulation a little bit. You do get some from side to side, but since it does go over the shoulders, it does limit it a little bit. Nothing I can do about that since it's all sculpted. There's a little bit of a trick to sculpting a hood like this, and that is to just really go for it. It's a pain in the butt to sculpt it to go over the head, but you can do it. Just take the time and make it happen, and you'll see that that's all it really takes, as is the case with most sculpted things. So there's the head. I did sculpt that over the Moon Knight head. I reshaped the Moon Knight jaw. I gave him some ears that look like they're underneath, and then I sculpted all of that skull mask, which is kind of a pain in the butt since there are so many lines that you have to sculpt on it, but I really love that design, so I was happy to do that. The customer wanted just yellow eyes in there, so that's what he got. One last thing I forgot to mention, so I'm going to shoot this afterwards and cut it into the video, is I also made his removable eyepiece. I just sculpted the eyepiece, and I made it so that it can snap in to the eye socket of his helmet, and therefore he now has his removable metallic with red centered eyepiece, kind of like a Terminator. It looks pretty cool, I think, and my customer wanted it, so there it is. And now I am done with the video, so I can stop editing this stuff into the video now. All of the dark blue parts are painted or dry brush dark blue. It has kind of like a leathery look to it, just a tiny bit of sheen. All of the white parts are kind of flat colored. I didn't want them to look glossy at all. And then the brown parts are also kind of leathery. The gray is kind of flat and the black is kind of flat, just to you know, mix up the finish a little bit. I think that adds a lot of realism to these figures, and so that's why I always like to do that and try to do that as much as I possibly can. These straps and the belt are out of Mr. Sinister Cape straps. I sculpted the buckles. These are sculpted. This is all sculpted. This is sculpted. This is sculpted. All of the armor is sculpted on the lower legs. These straps are neoprene sheeting, and then the shoes are sculpted as well. I sculpted the part that looks like it's tucked into the shoe. Basically everything is sculpted except for the straps and except for that zipper or seam down the front there, and of course that goes up through the abdominal section as well. So that's pretty much it. You guys know this is my 5th one of these now. I love this character design so much, so if anybody wants one, do let me know. I'm always happy to add you guys to the list of commissions, especially if it's a Taskmaster, because I really like making them. And I hope you guys like looking at the figures. Before I go, I'll give you a quick height measurement. He stands about 6.5 inches tall, so he's Marvel Legends scale built on the Shield Agent / Steve Rogers body. Used Steve Rogers hands, Shield Agent boots, and the body is the generic in-between body. I would like, if somebody out there wants it, I would like to make a Taskmaster using the... Which cap had the boots? The cap with the red boots. That was the most recent one. No, it wasn't. Whichever one. The red boots with the ankle rocker and everything. He had the one hand that held a gun and one sculpted fist hand. Can't remember which one he was offhand, but that's it. Anyway, okay, so there it is. There's the newest UDON Taskmaster custom from Anthony's Customs. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for more figure reviews, custom figures, and other good stuff. And if you want to see some photos of it, stay tuned to this point in the video now, because you can see those, and then I will see you in the next video. And in the meantime, keep collecting.